Hey everyone, and welcome. Every single year in software development feels like this giant tidal wave of new stuff, right? New tech, new frameworks, new everything. But when all that water pulls back, what's actually left standing? Today, we're going to cut through all that noise and talk about the software practices that have really, truly proven they have staying power. I mean, we've all seen this. It's the constant drumbeat of our industry. Every week, it feels like there's a new next big thing that's going to solve all our problems. And look, it's exciting, but let's be totally honest, it can also be just completely overwhelming. And here is the reality check. When those deadlines are breathing down your neck and the project complexity is just spiraling, most of that hype, it just vanishes. The real test of any new idea isn't how cool it sounds in a blog post, but whether it actually holds up under real-world pressure. So that's the big question, right? That's what we're digging into today. We're going to look at 3 powerful ideas that teams are sticking with, not because they're trendy, but because they genuinely work. Okay, first up, it's not about having the most tools in your toolbox. It's about how well those tools actually work together. The real magic happens with integration, not just collecting a bunch of shiny new things. What we're seeing is this really fundamental shift in mindset. Instead of just chasing the latest features, the most effective teams are all about creating a seamless workflow. They're asking, how can we make this whole process from start to finish just smoother? And this is where a standard like the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, comes into play. Just think of it like the universal plumbing for your AI. It's an adapter that lets AI agents talk to all your different tools in a consistent way. It basically solves the massive headache of custom code and constantly changing APIs. And this is where it gets really, really cool. You can take an agent like GitHub Copilot, give it very specific permissions, like only access to these issues and these PRs, and then give it a real job to do, like, hey, go figure out why this test is so flaky. It's not magic, it's just solid, reliable engineering. And this is the payoff, right here. Instead of spending your life writing fragile custom glue code that breaks every time some API gets an update, you're building on top of a stable, standardized foundation. That's how you get AI tooling that is actually built to last. So, that whole idea of stable connections, it leads us right into our second big principle. See, simplifying how tools connect is one part of the puzzle. The other part is simplifying the tools themselves. This is a question that stumps a lot of us. We're so trained to think about massive roadmaps and 5-year plans. But what if the most durable, long-lasting ideas don't start that way at all? I mean, just look at how simple this is. You make a new repo, you write a clear README that just says, here is the problem I'm solving. Then you add one tiny focused script that actually solves that one problem. That's it. In just these few steps, you've solved a real problem and created actual value. No massive, complicated roadmap needed. And the beauty of this whole approach is its longevity. Small, focused solutions are just fundamentally more resilient. A new person on the team can understand them quickly. They're way less painful to maintain, and you can actually improve them over time without breaking the entire system. All right, our third and final principle, and honestly, this one might be the most important of all. The projects that really truly last aren't just defined by their code. They're defined by the values they're built on. Things like clarity, trust, and community, those are the real foundations. And this really gets to the heart of what makes a project sustainable. A project's long-term health is not an accident. It's the result of deliberate, everyday choices you make about things like user privacy, how decisions get made, and maybe most critically, how well the thing is documented. And this is how you make those values real and tangible. These files, they're not just boilerplate you copy and paste. A great README tells people what this is and why it exists. A CONTRIBUTING.md invites people in and shows them how they can help. A SECURITY.md builds trust. These files are basically the user interface for your project's culture, and they build trust from day one. I mean, this really says it all, doesn't it? When you create that clarity, when people get the why and the how, you empower them. They know how to engage, they feel safe contributing, and they actually become invested in the project's success. That is what creates real durability. So, let's pull all 3 of these ideas together. We've got connected tools, small builds, and clear values. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all the hallmarks of what you could call the intentional builder. This table just lays it out perfectly. When you focus on integration using standards, the outcome you get is reliability. When you focus on simplicity by building small, you get durability. And when you prioritize clarity by documenting your values, you earn trust. Reliability, durability, and trust. Those are the pillars of software that actually lasts. At the end of the day, this is what it's all about. It's about being deliberate. By focusing on these core principles, you can build with so much more clarity and intention. And you can confidently ignore all the noise and just let the rest fall away. Look, the hype is never going away. There's always going to be a new framework, a new tool, a new promise. The real question is, what will you choose to focus on to build something that truly stands the test of time? Thanks for watching.